Hey, hi all, thank you very much for watching this video. In this video today we're gonna look into the load balancing service from AWS. So this is basically a load balancing service by the AWS. So this will work on the load balancing capabilities, whether the you can hit your request first on this load balancer, and this load balancer will route your traffic to the destination over the instances. So in this diagram you can see we have one AWS account. In that we're gonna have one VPC, and then in that VPC we're gonna have two availability zone, that is US East 1A and US East 1B. So in that availability zone we're gonna install or we're gonna launch two EC2 instance, and then we're gonna route traffic in those the regions. So let's quickly jump into the AWS console, and let's see how we can configure the load balancer service in AWS. So just go to your AWS console. So I am in North Virginia region, as you can see here, and now we have to first set up our own VPC. So let's go to VPC section. So here it is a VPC section under this account. So I am going to provision all this infrastructure in this North Virginia region, you can see here. So this is the VPC dashboard. So what are the necessary components for the VPCs are being resides here. So as of now you can see there is no VPC configure in this account in this region. So let's create one fresh new VPC for us. So create VPC. So I'm going with VPC only, and then I'm gonna name test VPC, and then IP block for that 12.0.0.0/16 network, and then tenancy I'm gonna stick with default. So let's create this VPC first. So we have created our VPC. So let's go and create subnets for this VPC. So there are no subnets associated with this VPC. So let's create subnets from here. Create subnets. So select your VPC in which you are going to create subnets. So test VPC. This is the IP block, and I'm gonna name it public test subnet 1A. So for the availability purpose, I am gonna launch this VPC into this availability zone US East 1. So this will give you highly available infrastructure. So this is a IP address for this I mean the IP range for this subnet. So let's break it down. So 12.0.1.0/24 network we are going to create. So these are 256 IP addresses we will have in this subnets for our personal use. So let's create another VPC. So I'm gonna copy this VPC name, I mean the subnet name. I'm giving it like 1B. So let's launch this, provide this subnet in US East 1B for higher availability. So the IP range for this subnet is going to be 12.0.2.0/24. So 12.0.2.0/24 IP ranges can be, IP block can be created with this address. So 256 IP addresses are available for use. So these both the subnets are public subnets. So just create subnets. So now we are creating subnets. So now we have created the subnets. So let's go and create one route table. So this is the default route table. So we are not going to use this. So let's create one new. So name it test route table, and VPC for this is test VPC, and just create route table. So now you have created a test route table. So let's associate some subnets to this route table. So click on subnet association and edit subnets, and these are the two subnets for our VPC. So save association. So what are the resources gonna be provisioned into these subnets? So this needs to be connect over the internet. So resources must go to over the internet. So for that we need a internet gateway for that. So let's create internet gateway. So create internet gateway. So name your internet gateway. I am giving it test IGW, internet gateway abbreviation, and let's create internet gateway for this. So now you have created internet gateway. So let's quickly attach this internet gateway to our recently created VPC. Attach to VPC. So select your VPC, that is the test VPC, and attach internet gateway to this VPC. So now you have attached this internet gateway and the subnets and routes. So again, one more thing is remaining, that is the route table routes for that VPC. So let's go create. So now we have to provide routes. So the instances in this subnets will have internet connectivity. So let's go and edit routes, and edit routes from anywhere, and target is internet gateway. So using internet gateway, our instances can interact with internet, can communicate with the public internet. So let's save these changes. So here our internet part is almost done. So we have created internet gateway, VPC, route tables, and associated subnets, public subnets with this route table. So let's go and create a EC2 instance. So I'm gonna provision 2 EC2 instance to check the capability of load balancing. So there is no instance running in this region. So yeah, and the load balancer is configured yet. So let's go and launch one EC2 instance. So just name it test EC2 instance. OS, select your desired OS what you want, and I'm going with Ubuntu. So t2.micro free tier eligible account and key pair. I have already explained what are these things in my previous videos, you can check. And then select your network settings. So we're gonna provision this instance in test VPC with this subnet, that is the public test subnet 1A, and we're gonna have one public IP address for this instance. So let's enable this. So let's go and create security group for this. So name it test security group, and we have to open port 2022 for SSH purpose from anywhere, and port HTTP for this Apache server. So port 80 is open and from anywhere. So these are the ports you need to be open for this instance. So again, in the advanced sections. So while booting this instance, we're gonna install one Apache server. So you can check the, so this is the script for launching, installing the Apache. So this is basically we're gonna update the system packages, then we're gonna install Apache 2, and this will provide you a system related details. So for the simplicity purpose, server 1 details. So whenever the load balancer route traffic, so you will know that on which instance your request is routed. So this is all about this settings, and let's launch this instance. The instance. So click on launch instance, and then name your instance test EC2 instance 2. So select your OS. So similarly you can follow the previous steps we have already gone through this. So select t2.micro retire eligible account. So same the VPC, the key, the network settings. So I'm gonna launch this instance in public subnet 1B availability zone. So I'm gonna have one public IP address for this instance. So security group, I'm going to use existing security group, that is test security group, and we're gonna use that user data script to install Apache 2. So just paste it, and server 2 details. So this will help you to understand your request is routed towards server 2, and you will get this response from server 2. So let's launch this instance. With running instances. So we have 2 instances up and running. So now let's check the capabilities of load balancer. So we're gonna use load balancer in this demo session. So for that, so first of all we have to create one target group. So this target group will have our 2 EC2 instance attached in it, and this target group will, this load balancer will use this target group to route the traffic between these 2 instances. So let's create target group. So instances, target type, and the test target group for EC2. So this is the name for our target group, and ports are this is using port 80, IP address 4 version. So let's select VPC, and protocol version 1 we gonna use. So let's create this, and here 2 instances populated, this 2 instances in our test VPC. So we are having these 2 instances. So let's select both of these instances and click on include as pending and create target group. So now you have created your target group. So now let's go and create one load balancer. So in your left corner in the bottom you will see this load balancer option. So let's click on this. So create load balancer. So you will have three types of load balancer, that is application load balancer, network load balancer, and the gateway load balancer. So later on in the future we gonna explore this network load balancer and the gateway load balancer. So as of now we gonna only going to see this use this application load balancer. So let's create this and name your load balancer test load balancer. And yes, I need internet facing, so internet we will have internet request, we will have a request from internet. So this load balancer will first receive the upcoming incoming request from the internet. So let's select the VPC and then the availability zone. These two availability zones are available. So security group, so let's use the by default security group we have created, that is the test security group, which is having that port 22 SSH and port 80 enabled in it. So listeners and routings, so let's select this target group, test TG for EC2s. So this will have our two instances in it. So rest of the settings I'm gonna keep it default and create this load balancer. So the load balancer is in the provisioning state. So wait for a couple of minutes. So after that your load balancer will be in your running step, and we're gonna use this load balancer. So now our instance is up and running, I mean the load balancer is up and running. So this is in the active state. So let's go and check this load balancer. So simply copy this DNS address from here and paste it in your browser. So let's see our configuration related to this load balancer. So let's click hit enter. So this request is routing. So now this request is responded from our server 2. So let's copy this address and paste in another tab. So this is another request over our load balancer. So again it is serving us from server 2. So this time this request is responded from our server 1. So this is how you can use your load balancer. So to load balance this traffic between these two instances. Whenever your first server or instance is in the critical state or it is not in the active state, so you will not face any downtime. So with this you can use this load balancer capabilities. So thank you very much for watching this video guys, and subscribe this channel.